Looking at EB Corbos Linux for safety applications, what really makes it special is the 4 safety applications at the end. So it is a Linux based on Ubuntu, but it complies with ASIL-B SIL 2 safety requirements, which is something totally new for a Linux distribution. The industry for many years has been trying to build a Linux that complies with automotive functional safety requirements and has failed. And Elektrobit has finally managed to do that. And I'll talk a little bit more about how we managed to do that. And we're here actually to present a tutorial for the free download SDK for our EB Linux for safety applications. So what is it for? It provides developers essential tools to evaluate and integrate Elektrobit's Corbos Linux for safety applications into your embedded systems, right? So it allows you to get started with this revolutionary offering that Elektrobit has. Who's it for? It's for companies who need a robust operating system, which is Linux, for their software-defined vehicle and high-performance compute development. And what's included, you get a basic image for the KMU emulator, including the Elektrobit Corbos hypervisor, a low-integrity partition. So a low-integrity partition is where you would run your non-safe applications, and a high-integrity partition where you would run your safe applications. And it allows you to build your own version. There is access to the EB Corbos hypervisor packages. There's a getting started guide, of course, and there's a developer guide with step-by-step instructions on how to build the example. And what can you do with this free download? Well, you can build your Linux, you can see what the startup time is, you can really evaluate, is it going to meet the needs of your application? You can start prototyping high integrity or safe applications without the safety qualification based on Linux. So you can see, will your safe application actually work without getting the safety certification? And you can learn how to deploy your own applications to the system, which is of course what you really care about. And it is for evaluation purposes, not for mass production. And if you want to license the full safety development kit, then you can take what you have done in the prototype environment and seamlessly move it to something that you can put into series and for which you can get safety certification. This is what it looks like. It looks similar to the picture I showed you before. Again, you have your hardware, which in this case is a PC. Then you have the QEMU emulator to make your PC look like automotive hardware. Then you have a hypervisor and a fixed configuration with 2 virtual machines and the OS safety monitor. You have 1 quality managed Linux running in a virtual machine, which you can see on the left, and you have another safety Linux, ASIL-B, so high integrity Linux, running on the right side. And then you have an example application which spans across the 2 partitions. And of course you have the OS safety monitor. The OS safety monitor is not included in the download, but is something that would be included in the licensed product when you actually need the safety certification. So what are the supported hardware and software stacks of EB Corbos Linux for safety applications download SDK? Well, the download SDK really supports Linux operating systems with a containerized development environment that is compatible with Microsoft Visual Studio Code, which is a well-known development environment, so that's going to make things faster and easier for you. There's also support for emulating real, let's say, automotive hardware using KMU, as I mentioned before. As far as the hardware platforms for going into the series, we essentially, again, support emulated environments using KMU, but we also support, of course, real hardware, generally hardware based on the ARM v8 and v9 Cortex-A architectures. Potentially in the future, we will support x86 architectures. And we can provide support for whatever hardware you need based on your requests. How do you get your hands on the EB Corbos Linux for Safety Applications SDK? Well, step 1, visit the official download page. Step 2, complete the download form. Then you'll get an email with a download link, and then you can set up your development environment on an Ubuntu 22.04 system, either running on an x86 PC or an ARM 64-bit PC. Then follow the Getting Started guide. Over the next weeks, my colleagues will appear here on YouTube with some tutorial videos to tell you how to actually use the SDK. Thank you for joining me today to this short introduction of the free download SDK for EB Corbos Linux for safety applications. Bye-bye.